everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Kat, and for today, we are on day 6 of an entire week of Glam Shop palettes, and for today, we've got a bit of a fiery one with the Paprika Palette, and already the design just lets you know it's gonna be red hot. Ba-bam! Look at this. I mean, wow. That is very, very red. I don't wear reds a ton, and so this palette to me, probably out of the entire week, is the most intimidating because those are not just red, but like red. So I am a little bit nervous for how today is gonna go, but we're just gonna launch right in and then we'll see at the end how it all came together. If you are new here, the way that I've been doing this all week is I swatch first and then we do a look after that, and then we kind of talk about what we think of it in comparison to the other looks that I've done all week, and then tomorrow we're gonna judge all 7 days and see which one came out on top as the best look so far. So let's go ahead and just jump into these swatches. All right, so first up is Nostro, which is just a very red metallic, and it has a bit of a gritty texture to it, I will say that. But a beautiful red. Like, this almost looks like ketchup on my hand. Like, that is the level of red that I am getting with this guy. So that's gonna be perfect. Then we have a slightly deeper metallic Picante, which is very pretty. This is a little bit more of like a cranberry red, so you can definitely see that this has a bit more of an orangish red tint to it, whereas this is just straight red. And definitely the consistency of the two is a little bit different, where you can see on there slightly more sheer on this side than this guy is, but fairly similar level of opacity between the two. But oh man, these are some good metallics so far. Very, very shimmery. Then we have Pieprzny, which is a matte red shade. And that is a good medium toned red. Then we have Salsa, which is another red metallic. Although this one is definitely swatching, yeah, this is way more of a topper. And it goes a little bit between like a pinkish red to like an orange shade. So you can see a little bit on there how it's got some pink to reddish to orange on there, but definitely very, very sheer. And so that would be more of the topper shade. Then we have an orange matte shade Paprika. Ooh, it is a deeper orange. All right. Very nice, but very pigmented. That is a very nice, strong orange. Then we have a shimmer that I think is gonna be absolutely stunning, and this is Tabasco. And it looks like it's got at least 2 shifts on there between reddish orange and yellow that you can already see right there. And then as I look at it, it almost has a bit of a bluish green shift as well on top. So let's see if we can catch that at all. So as it's trying to focus up at the top, you catch ever so slightly that blue, but primarily the red to orange. But that is a beautiful I mean, that's probably my favorite shade so far out of the palette. But we all know how much I love a good shift on there. Then we have another red matte shade Chili. Ooh, that is red and pigmented. Wow. All right. I will definitely say, so this is almost like a blood red, and then in comparison, this is a slightly deeper red. And so they are not quite the same, even though just like upon initial glance, they do look similar. This one is definitely a little bit more of just a true red. And then this one has a little bit, I would say ever so slight, of purple hues in it, which is why it's pulling a little bit darker. Then we have a shimmer shade Piri Piri, which is a little bit more of an orangey shimmer. Very nice and opaque. And I would say rather than orange, a bit more corally, but very, very pretty still. Then our last shade is a really nice, deep, rich, like plummy red shade, Carmelizowani, and that is this guy. Look how rich that is. That is like borderline raspberry. So you're definitely getting into more of the plummy, like purple red tones with that guy. So very, very pretty though. And I would say that that shade goes very nicely with this second metallic on here, that they would layer very pretty. So I did have one of you guys earlier this week ask if I could try to switch things up a little bit with how I've been organizing my eyeshadows that I usually pull the darker shades out to the edge. So what I think we're gonna do this time is we're gonna do the reverse, where we're gonna have darker on the inside and then go lighter as we progress out. And then we'll have a nice bright shade as the inner corner. So we'll have light, and then we'll have like that deeper to lighter ombre going on in the middle. And so we're gonna jump right in for that. All right, so since we're starting off deeper first, we're gonna go with this beautiful plum shade on the inner third first, and then we will jump into the red chili shade, and then we will go into that beautiful paprika orange shade for the outer portion, and then we will start to layer the shimmers on top of that. All right, this is definitely looking very weird to have such a dark shade going on first, but we're gonna jump into the chili shade next. I did have a little bit of fallout over on the side on here, but it wasn't too bad, and it did brush away. Although, do you ever have it in the winter where your nose is just like, I'm gonna get really dry and I'm gonna have all the skin around my nose just decide that it hates makeup? That's what we've got going on today, where my foundation is just like, haha, you thought I was gonna stay on your face. It's not. Alright, I think those two shades are looking really beautiful with each other. They blended together very nicely. So I think that's awesome. Again, just a smidge of fallout going on, but I'll brush that away in just a sec. And then we will go into the orange paprika shade to finish it out. Alright, so then for the under eye, I think what we will do is we'll start off with that same deeper shade, and then we will go more so just directly into the orange so that it links up those two shades rather than going from the plum to the red to the orange. So we'll just have two shades underneath. Okay, so now we're gonna move into the shimmers, and this is looking interesting so far. I don't dislike it, but I also don't quite know what I think just yet. I think I need more shimmer before I can really make any kind of decision on there. All right, so for the shimmers, we're gonna go into Picantni first for layering on top of that deeper shade. Then we will go into Nostro for on top of the red, and then we will go into this guy, Piri Piri, for on top of the orange. And then I think for the inner corner, we're gonna use this bad boy right here. So very excited to see how that guy looks. So the Picantni shade looks absolutely stunning on top of that darker plum matte shade that we put on first. I will say though that I started off using a brush on both sides, but then to finish it up, ended up using my finger just to really get a little bit more of the color to pop. And so if you're wanting just a light amount of pigmentation, you can just use a packing brush. But if you're really wanting that oomph, you're gonna have to go in with your finger for that particular shade. So now we're gonna go into Nostro, which is this guy right here for the middle of the eye. And I will let you guys know if that kind of gritty consistency when I was swatching it continues as I apply it. Falco decided to jump in and join me, so you might see his ears and his little nosy nose. Yes, hello, my sweet boy. Yeah. So for that shade, I will say the gritty feeling from when I swatched it, completely unnoticeable as I put it on my eyes. And then also, I did not need to use my finger at all. Packing brush worked completely fine. It went right on, and so that is very, very nice. And there was also hardly any fallout with that particular shade, so also very, very nice to note. So now we're gonna go into the Piri Piri shade, which is this beautiful orangey shade on top of the orange, and then we're gonna get into that Tabasco shade for the inner corner, and you better believe I'm gonna be packing that guy on because that is a beautiful shade. Piri Piri shade definitely went on very nice and easy too. I will say it made the orange matte shade ever so slightly deeper of a tone than what it was. And so this is becoming even more of just a very smoky eye. So our final shade is going to be that Tabasco shade. So here we go. All right, that definitely added a huge pop of like yellowish fire into the inner corner there. So I am going to tightline and throw on mascara, and then we will be back for the final look. Oh man, this is quite an interesting color combo with how everything is moving on here, but I'm kind of liking it. All right, and we are back with the final look, so I'm gonna come in close for you guys to take a look at everything. So I ended up going with a nice deep plum liner on the waterline because I felt like that would really kind of add to the smokiness of everything. And I think that the shimmers are really, really beautiful. I definitely think that that particular Tabasco shade on the inner corner is just by far my favorite shade with the pop that it gives it. And I do think that it adds like a lot to making my eyes pop in general, but it's a very smoky eye. Regardless of whether the deeper shades are on the inside or the outside, I feel very vampy right now. So I would love to know what you guys think though of this particular look. I mean, reds for me are always a little bit more intimidating. I've kind of gotten to where I can use them more if it's like for a fall look, but just straight vamp to me is like, I don't know how I feel about it just yet. It's a little intimidating, but I would love to know what you guys think. Give me a thumbs up if you liked it, thumbs down if you did not, as we always do here. And if you made it to the end of the video and you have not yet subscribed, I would love it if you join my family on here. We talk about indie brands, colorful makeup, all the swatches, all of the things. And so if you want to join the conversation with us, feel free to subscribe. And other than that, you guys just go have a good one.